welcome to the second part of how to write an 8-bar melody over a chord sequence. In our first session we looked at how to write the melody. In the second session we're going to look at making the melody more decorated and trying to make the opening of the melody especially more interesting for the listener. I've taken the first 2 bars of our melody, C, E, F, A, and taken out the passing notes that we added in the previous session. And I'm going to start again and look at all the different things we could do in that section. I'm going to start off by talking about auxiliaries. On the keyboard, the note beneath C is B natural. And a lower auxiliary is where you play the opening note, then one below it, and then the same one again. So it becomes C, then B, then C. If we write this down, we've got C, B, C, and then we have a space, then we have our E. So our melody now sounds like this. Which is a different start to what we had before, because previously we just had a passing note. It just so happens that that passing note still works, because we still have C and E in the melody. So a D between them, as a passing note, now makes sense. In the second bar, after the F, I'm going to have an upper auxiliary, which means that I go from F, up one note to G, and then back down to the starting note, which was F. So in the second bar, F, G, F, A. So my new melody goes like this. You can see it's a little bit more sophisticated than the original version. What I'm going to play to you now is the melody that we wrote in the first session with the new start in the first bar and the second bar, and also in the 5th and 6th bar. I'm sure you remember that the 1st and 5th bar were identical, and so were the 2nd and 6th. So I'm going to continue that pattern this time through. With our melody developed like that, we have a very busy opening of the first bar and a busy opening of the second bar. The end of the first bar and the end of the second bar are both very quiet. To make that a little bit more interesting, I'm now going to introduce a lower auxiliary at the end of the first bar. After the E, I'm going to have a D and then another E, so lower auxiliary starting on E. So we have now this version of the melody. Flows even better than the first version did. What you can do with your melodies, of course, is to make the rhythms much more interesting. At the moment, I'm just using crotchets, quavers and minims. If I were to introduce a dotted rhythm in the first bar, then it might be a little bit more interesting still. Gives it a very different characteristic. Of course, you can mix and match these as much as you like. What I would encourage you to do though is to remember the importance of the melody having a sense of flow and also a sense of repeating patterns. I hope you've enjoyed the second session.